Hello, my loves, and welcome back to another episode of Shots of Serenity podcast. First of all, this is episode 220. 2s and 4s are my favorite number, and soon we're gonna be at 222. I'm excited for that episode. But anywho, my name is Jasmine St. John, and I am the host of this podcast. So we like to start each episode off by asking, how are you genuinely doing? What's coming up for you? How are you feeling? What do you need? How can you support yourself in this moment? It can be as simple as a breath. This episode is specifically dedicated to the soft landing. If you don't know, the soft landing is our official offering, our official in-person baby. And if you've been following along my podcast journey, then I think within the last year or two, I've been really talking about, or even just saying like, oh, something's coming. And I kind of talked about the transition of this podcast from audio to video and audio, and my desired offering being outside and in this really big group setting and all the things. And really the transition into me starting with what I have, where I'm at, and something a little bit more intimate, something a little bit less, not confrontational, because that's not a right word, just less intimidating for me and individuals that may be just connecting with us. So we decided on the soft landing, which is an intimate space. It's indoors, having about 5 people each session, and we have 2 sessions a month. It's a Saturday and a Sunday, once a month, the same weekend. At the time of this recording, our first one of 2026 will be the following weekend. I have my little schedule here for our first 3 months. I'm gonna do it by quarter because I have something to tell you guys, and you guys are gonna be the first ones to know for real. And I also want you guys to support. So January's dates are the 17th to the 18th. We have it in February from the 7th to the 8th, and then March from the 28th to the 29th. So those are going to be our first 3 offerings, and they're going to be based in Winter Park, Florida, in this same space, actually. So why the soft landing? Again, a space to really reset, recharge. As most of you know, I am a licensed therapist, and a lot of that work is processing, is talking things through, trying to have self-actualization moments, trying to have moments of insight, really cerebral. And although that is completely okay and needed, and I definitely do somatic work in different sessions depending on the client and what they need, this is strictly somatic based. We're not really doing a lot of talking, not a lot of processing. If there's insight, it's personal insight. Most of the talking is me guiding through the entire event. With this, it is community-based. I don't know when we'll ever really talk about how I feel about relationships and community, but I've alluded to the fact that I am scared of them, just from personal experiences and really being on such a hiatus from interpersonal relationships for the most part, outside of work relationships, clientele relationship, and my intimate relationship. And so I am really pushing myself and really getting outside of my comfort zone and welcoming community, because I love community. I need it. We all need it. I understand the benefits of it, and it really does feel good to be around people that see you, that reflect onto you in a healthy way. And thankfully, I've really been able to see the benefits of healthy partnership in the relationships that I do have. And so now it's about overcoming the barriers, the past wounds, the scariness, I don't think that's a word, but the fear, that's definitely a word, the fear that I've had surrounding it. And I figured what better way to do so in an intimate setting in this way. I really like the energy of it. Before, I was really thinking about doing individual one-on-one personal sound baths or a 50-50 gentle movement, and breathwork meditation type of event. And so that is okay. And I'm not saying that I'll never do it, but to be honest, that takes a lot of space, a lot of capacity. And I already do one-on-ones with my clients. So I figured, why not create like a group space, having this be something that is small and sacred, but also promotes recovery, rest, communing, and all the things. So I have something to tell you guys that I'm gonna need some help with. My intentions for today is to tell you what the soft landing is and what it is not. Again, I kind of already told you guys about the schedule, the first 3 months, and again, we'll be doing it by quarter, so I'll launch quarter 2, 3, and 4. We're moving back to Miami. And so old me would be like, oh my God, I don't know what that's gonna do for me with like the soft landing, the potting video, and all the things. And of course, there's still some fear around it. With that being said, most of you guys know the office space that I'm in is the group private practice that I work at. And my supervisor, professional mentor has been so open and so supportive to not just allowing me to do my therapy stuff, but Shots of Serenity things. And there's a part of me that's like, bro, we just started audio. We just started this individual experience. What is this gonna look like? Am I going to have to stop? What is that like? Consistency, all the ruminating thoughts. But I'm trusting in God that it will all work out. I don't really have answers on what that's gonna look like. The move is not gonna be until about quarter 2 or quarter 3, because what? First quarter is January, March, April, May, June. So it will finish out quarter 1 and quarter 2, and quarter 3 and quarter 4 is gonna be what's a little different. My thoughts are maybe even to still come back once a month and or have some things in Miami. Again, I don't really know exactly what it is. I'm allowing God to lead me, as well as being intentional about seeking different things. And of course, I will update you guys. But with that being said, I still desire to continue. I would love your thoughts on what you would prefer. Should we keep it in the Orlando space? Should we do a little bit of both? What is something that either you or your loved ones would support, and all the things. I've also been thinking about maybe adding a virtual offering when I go down there, because we used to do Instagram lives. And now Instagram does not let you go live if you don't have 1,000 followers. And so on our business page, we are not at 1,000 yet. Whether I do the lives maybe on my personal page or I do like a Zoom meeting, again, I don't know the technicalities, but I would love for this to be a collaborative approach. Regardless, moving to Miami, we desire to continue building our foundation in Miami. So I don't really see myself moving back to Orlando unless it's in God's will. But because of the connections that are already established here, I definitely don't mind doing a little bit of both. So that is that. Again, please let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you feel like would be feasible, what would be something that you guys would connect with. I'm not saying I'll take it for gold, but obviously this is for you guys, and so your insight is imperative. So should we start with what it is and what it isn't? I feel like a therapist because I'm like, do you want to start with the highs or do you want to start with the lows? A lot of times people like to start with the lows because like, let's rip the Band-Aid off. And we're gonna do that. Let's start with what it is not. So it is not a deep emotional digging or first forced release. Again, I see benefit of that. I see benefit of top-down processing and bottom-up processing, hence why I'm a therapist. And I think both are important. The brain, the body, the spirit, all the things. But this is not that. There is a piece where you're invited to bring your journal so you can do your own reflections. Of course, I'm more than open to connect individually if there's something you feel led to share within the group, but it's not a must. Another thing that it's not is not a productivity tool disguised as self-care. I really would like for it to be an opportunity to rest and recover. We do some gentle movement, some breath work, which I probably should slow down now. We do some gentle movement, some breath work, some meditation. I provide some affirmations, some words of encouragement in between. And like I said, a lot of the reflection is very invitational, something to do towards the end to hold space for you and what comes up. It's also not something that you have to prepare for or earn. I'm a therapist with the therapist. It's been a minute since I have therapy, but thankfully I'm about to start back this week. But I experienced couples therapy. I had therapy before, all the different things. And so with those things, sometimes it can feel like a lot of preparation, whether you've had like homework before, or when you're going into certain spaces, you almost have to feel like you got to get yourself together. Even energetically, when you're preparing to be in community with other people, hopefully you're being mindful of not projecting onto other people, being conscious of the way you move, talk, and so forth. And of course, if it's for you to feel like you have to check yourself and your energy before walking to the space, you're invited to do so. But I really take on the bulk of making sure that I'm trying to curate the energy, whether it's like smudging, clearing out the energy, setting the tone, all the things. And so it's nothing that you necessarily have to prepare for or earn. The beautiful thing about the soft landing in this season, it's also donation based. And so I know that I can personally relate to wanting to do all the wellness things that are going to be so beneficial for my mind, my body, my spirit, my relationships, but maybe not having the finances for. And that is okay. That may not always be the case. And so right now in this season, being able to do this in a way where let's release the financial burden, hopefully, and do what's on your spirit. Thankfully, we did not launch this in a space of lack where we maybe had those thoughts before, hence why they never really unfolded and unfolded well. So I really would love for that to not be a barrier. I'll be honest, like I said, we are transitioning, and so that may not always be the case. It may not always be donation based, but I'm always going to be conscious about what I'm bringing to the table and understanding the value as well as the intentions of it. So it's also not a performance or an expectation to do it right. Again, no one's really looking at you. Although it's community based, if you have not seen, you have an option for blindfolds. There's a blanket, there's a pillow. And so, 9 times out of 10, no one's really looking at you. I invite people to close their eyes or have a low gaze. Of course, whatever feels good for you. If it feels safe to have your eyes open, that is completely fine, but no one's looking at you. And anytime really when I do guided things like that, my eyes are closed as well. I know I need to do better with that to also read the room, but I'm definitely not judging or seeing how you're doing it. And so we are really encouraging to not feel like you have to be performative or do it right. It's also not a workshop or educational training. I'm not going to be like, raise your hand if you know what sound healing is, or like a mini pop quiz. No, in the beginning, I may have like a brief overview about the different modalities that's going to be in the session, just for people who have never experienced it before. It's not to be ostracized. It's not going to be heavy on information. And again, I think that there are spaces for all those things. Education is important. Processing is important. Hence why I believe in it. Hence why I'm a therapist. And I think that it's always important for us all to continue to learn. So I'm not bashing workshops or educational trainings. This is just not it. And lastly, it's not a place where you have to share or speak. And I kind of touched on that a little bit. This is not really like a voluntold type of experience. Anything that may be speaking 9 times out of 10 will be from me. And it'll be very invitational if you naturally have something to mention at the end, or if it's on a one-on-one conversation, or again, the whole point is for it to be in community. So if you feel resonant with the individual next to you, the other individuals into the space, that is also part of the intentions. Have at it, but that does not mean that you have to. Okay? So let's get into what the soft landing is. The soft landing is a place to arrive exactly as you are. In our reservation form, I have a space that kind of talks about what have you been feeling lately, whether it's overwhelmed, heavy, maybe you're feeling grounded and want to continue to use this as self-care. Again, this is not to be shared with the community, but so that way I can have a little bit of surface level insight on what type of energy is coming into the room. There's no judgment about any of it, but considering that if you answer those questions, I can keep that in mind. It's also, again, gentle breath work, gentle sound, and stillness. You have the opportunity to sit down, to lay down, whatever feels good for you. There will be some breath work. It's surrounding the sound bowl, so there's definitely going to be sound, as well as stillness. It is also rest without needing to explain yourself, which again is kind of like the opposite of what it's not, right? It's not therapy. You don't really have to talk about what came up for you, why it came up, only if you feel invited to. It's also a pause from the fixing, the striving, and the processing. One of the biggest intentions for this offering is because we're always so damn busy. There is always something to do. My good sis, Debbie Brown, I saw a post earlier this week, and it was like, no one talks about how weird it is to be alive. And like, for real. And I was actually having this conversation with one of my clients this week, like, choosing to heal and be conscious is so difficult. And sometimes me and Jessica joke around like, I want to walk around like the other people who don't take accountability. They don't give a goddamn. They do what they want to do. They're not doing all the things. And then of course we got to bring ourselves in. We know it's venting, but it is very difficult to be alive right now. It feels so heavy, no matter what work you're doing, just like a lot energetically. I will say 2026 so far has been feeling a little like lighter. I think just as a collective, the energy has been shifting. We're really prioritizing health and wellness, and even myself, for some reason, me prioritizing my health and wellness feels so much more attainable for some reason. So I do think, of course, the collective consciousness is continuing to rise, but that doesn't take away from the fact that there's just a lot of things that we're dealing with. And I really wanted this to be a space where you don't have to prepare and do a whole lot. You can be present in your own mind, your own body, your own spirit, and really, really settle into what's coming up for you. The soft landing is an opportunity to be held in presence rather than pushed towards insight. It's also a soft exhale for your nervous system, an opportunity really to just check in, to be present, to be right here, right now. And lastly, it's also a quiet connection with yourself and others. In the church community, they often say God in spirit is present when two or more are gathered. And I think that's the same vibe. Although we don't have to be mixing and mingling and talking and chatting, being in a space to be soft, to be gentle, even when that's not something you naturally do, and knowing that other people are there with the same intentions is healing in itself. Being able to connect with an energy of peace, of rest, of recovery, of resetting is very magical. And again, a reason why I am trying to get out of my comfort zone, because I truly understand the power of healing amongst others. Because to be seen, to be validated, to be understood is so important, especially in a world where you feel like no one understands. When you are going through so many things and it feels like life is happening to you, being reminded that we're all experiencing life. And although it can be difficult sometimes, that does not make it impossible. That doesn't make it less valuable. And so I'm excited. I'm scared just in general, but I'm also open. And like always, I definitely pray that I see God in everything. I am aware that even my future relationships with community is not going to look like peaches and cream. I may be triggered. I may have to have some trial and errors. And I think my heart is finally in a space where I can do so without having some of those old wounds come up and impact me from being able to experience really amazing people, as well as the level of discernment that I've built to not be a martyr, to not people please, to not do all the things. And again, that's more so just personally what I mean in community. My intentions is to facilitate. I'm not walking around thinking like, oh, I'm about to leave with my best friend. Like, that's not the goal. I would love for you to leave with your best friend. And hey, if a best friend comes out of it, hey, love. But for this event specifically, like, the community is in a space of healing, and I have no desires to bring in my stressors or, relationship things into it. And so, yeah, I really wanted to be honest. I wanted to be transparent with you guys, and I wanted to have an episode specifically dedicated to it because, as you guys know, we are we're coming after it all. This year we are, I'm listening to God. I am listening to myself. I'm getting out of my comfort zone. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to do all the things. And I'm super excited, super excited. So I have a big favor to ask for you guys. Please not only just share this video, but share all the content that we have. We really want to grow and to be able to connect with like-minded people and to build a space where others can feel seen, validated, safe, to be able to soften and all the things on their healing journey. This is not going to be the one thing that changes everyone's lives. I mean, hey, if it is, so be it. May God bless it. But a vessel on all of our journeys to self-awareness, to self-exploration, to mindfulness. And so please share, please leave a review under this episode on YouTube and anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Please follow us on social media and share. share. Please. We'll continue to talk a little bit more about what the soft landing is. I'm being intentional about having more educational pieces to what sound healing is, to what breath work is. It's something to learn all the time. There was a lot of fear of like, well, everybody else is doing it, so why wouldn't they know? They don't want to hear it. And that's limited thinking. That's not realistic. It's not fair. And so this is going to be some educational pieces on what these integrative practices are on social media, as well as I would love to connect with you guys. It would mean a lot. And I'm excited about where we go from here. So again, share, comment, like, send it to your loved ones. If you're not in Florida, send it to the people that you know that's in Florida, specifically the Orlando, Miami area. And it would really mean a lot. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, y'all, I hope January is treating you very kindly. Keep this secret between us. We'll talk about the transition a little close, but of course I had to let my podcast loves know because I need you guys' help. So, love you. I hope that you have an amazing rest of the month, an amazing rest of the year, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.